Well, hi, everybody. I'm Peter Gordon. I'm president of New York Financial Organizers, and welcome to another NYFO interview. Today, I'm interviewing Paul Doyle of Oasis Senior Advisors and of New York and Connecticut. And welcome, Paul. How are you today?
Thanks, Peter. I'm doing great. Beautiful day.
It really is a beautiful day. I got some natural sunlight coming through my window. So, Paul, why don't you tell us a little bit about your business and how you came about coming into the business?
Sure. Well, Oasis Senior Advisors, it's a national franchise, and my wife Susan and I own the territories that encompass New York and Connecticut. And it's a free service for families to help them navigate senior care and whatever that means for them. And we got into it because I guess about 7 years ago, we were our potential client. Because my father was my father was in the last couple of years of his life, and I was healthcare proxy, POA, and dealing with all the things you had to deal with. He was in and out of the hospital, into rehab, at home, hospice care, all of those pieces, hiring the aides, and it just seemed hard. Getting all those resources and finding out what was right. I didn't know. There was no dummies guide in the bookstore.
No, no yellow book.
Yeah. And so I went through that, and a bit of time after that, my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So we went through that piece, and I had an uncle who was in and out of skilled nursings, and Susan had an aunt who was sort of the stereotypical octogenarian who was firing her caregiver every other day and driving her sons crazy. And the family just kept coming to us for what we had learned, because that's what you do, right? You just share it with somebody you know, and they just share their one experience. So Susan and I were actively out there building the resources, making the connections, and getting the pieces of the pie together, or building that toolkit, really. And then just by helping a lot of families along the way, the best practices we've learned and the case studies that we have just enrich us with the experience to navigate just about any situation. And it doesn't mean we have the solution, but we know where to go, and we know who to pair you with, who you need on your team. And we do that for no cost to the family, which relieves another big pressure.
Talk a little bit about that no cost. That's a pretty nice selling point.
Yeah, it is, because in this space, everybody puts on a meter as soon as you get talking to them. So at the core, the business piece of Oasis Senior Advisors is that we're a placement service. We get compensated by assisted living and memory cares based on placement, like a headhunter or a real estate broker might. We work with all of them. We have the same deals, so we have no material interest in where somebody places. And it's such a big move for people, such a big change in their life, that we really can't sell that choice. It's organic. The phone call rings and somebody says, I'm worried about my mom. Now, for somebody, that might mean that they need a grab rail in the shower and they need a guy who won't screw up the tile, okay? Somebody else is just on the cusp of qualifying for Medicaid and going into a skilled nursing, and they need a secure dementia wing and a skilled nursing. So, from one end of the continuum to the other as far as complexity goes, and everything in between. And people sort of find their own level. We just sit there and educate them. We listen a lot, and figure out family dynamics, the clinical needs, the financial resources, geographic, the cultural piece, so that wherever somebody ends up living, be it home or skilled nursing or assisted living, that they're comfortable. You want them safe, but you want them to be in a position where they can thrive and enjoy their life.
Yeah. So how do you come about getting your clients?
It's a lot of word of mouth. I mean, a lot of people have heard of A Place for Mom, which is similar, but it's really a lead generation company. They're internet based and they spend an awful lot of money and have great strategies on search engine optimization and all those things that get you to pop up on Google. Well, we really can't compete on that. So Susan and I are out in the street a lot, meeting people and letting them know about our service, because it's really a service that many people don't know even exists.
Right.
So I think that's our biggest thing. And that's the differentiator too, though, is that we're on the street. We've been in the buildings. We've met the professionals. We have relationships with them. Every one of our clients is an agent for us because they're giving us feedback on what their experience is. So we know firsthand how that skilled nursing handles this situation, or how that assisted living does this, or how that home care did with this situation. And they're open to us because we help them. And it's not gilded at all. It's an unvarnished truth.
Right. And the way we met is through the Orion Resource Group, which is a phenomenal group because it's a resource for us. And all the members are people who are in the geriatric service industries. And that's how I get my business also. It's through referrals and people who know people. I mean, we were talking earlier about your business philosophy, which kind of matches mine. You want to expand on that a bit?
Sure. So the area we were exploring is that we both got into this business for those very personal reasons. This business opportunity was laid bare to me by my father dying and my mother dealing with dementia. And that's how I saw it. There wasn't any great strategy in it, but
that's exactly the same. I mean, my father passed away, and then my mother was homebound and had dementia.
Yeah, and so if that's the motivator, that you can relieve people's pain or help them. But at the same time, they sort of conundrum is, but you can't help them if your business doesn't succeed.
Right.
So you do have to succeed, and that means you have to have revenue and make money. And it's just, it just feels weird talking about that because so much of our energy is just spent on the empathy piece and the listening, and doing that part of the work. And as I was mentioning to you, now that we've been doing this for 5 years, now it's really instinctive. I mean, that's my job, is answering questions. What do? I answer questions and I connect people. How does that work as a business? Well, on the surface, you wouldn't know, but it does. And so we have the luxury of just being able to wear our heart in our sleeve and be out there and help folks.
Yeah, no, it establishes incredible goodwill, and 5 years is about the time it takes until it's things start moving. And I've had the similar experience, totally. And I always view it as like, I want to be your resource. I want to be helpful to you. Maybe I can help you. Maybe I can't. I had taken a Sandler sales training course many years ago in a different life. And one of the lines was, what we do is not for everyone. And it's very true. That kind of goes away, the common notion of sales. But I just want to help people. And I know, as you do, it'll come back to us. And I'm happy, so very often we, in our business, we refer to others, and there's nothing in it for me, except for the goodwill that will come back.
Right. And I think it's motivating too, that for you to get recognized. It's not like you need a pat on the back per se, but when you've performed well. And if you perform well for two different people, the family you're serving, and then the person who referred that family to you, because they took a big leap, right? They took a big leap, whether they're a professional or a family friend. They said they're trying to help. They're being just as empathetic and positive in supporting that family as you are. And they've gone out on a limb by saying, you should talk to Paul and Susan Doyle because they can help you. Absolutely. And if we fall down, we've failed that family, and we've failed that family friend or that referral partner. And that really drives you. That's a lot of pressure to be under all the time.
The other side of that is that it does make the process, for myself at least, my process a little easier, because the referrals I get are very warm leads. They're coming from someone more often than not who's really a trusted advisor to the client. And so that's nice. It's just that the leads don't come that often, but that's okay, you know, and we're being able to make a really good go out of it. You mentioned also to me earlier about being the micro business of the year.
That was quite a surprise and a great honor. So somebody at SCORE in Connecticut nominated us as a small business of the year for 2020. The Small Business Administration has awards every year. And in the Connecticut region, we were nominated and fortunate enough to be named Micro Enterprise of the Year for 2020, Small Business of the Year.
Do you know who nominated you?
It was a woman that we knew from SCORE who had referred us clients or referred a friend. And so in vetting us for her friend and then seeing us work for her friend, and then being a member of SCORE, she had some pointed questions about our business, and you know, the two pieces came together. That empathy piece we talk about, and then the business piece of it.
Right.
She had it both, and she nominated us. Went through the process, and we're lucky enough to be awarded the award.
That's wonderful. That's really great. Well, it's been great talking to you. I'd be remiss if we didn't mention that today is opening day for the New York Mets after a long weekend. And,
that's right. So as comrades in spirit as Met fans, I guess that shows our compassion level as well.
Or our desire for pain.
One or the other, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, and it's funny. I could practically see Citi Field out my window. I'm like a mile and a half, 2 miles away. It's kind of special. And I grew up being a big Met fan and going to games with my dad. And that really, our relationship revolved around sports, especially the Mets. And the best conversations we had was either on the way to Shea Stadium, in Shea Stadium, or on the way home as we got older, and I would drive him back home. And so it means a lot, you know, and spring is so important, and it brings back those wonderful memories.
It's amazing how intimate you can be with 40,000 people surrounding you.
That's right. Yeah, there's nothing like it. And I'm excited that we'll be going to a game.
I look forward to it. That would be great.
Okay, Paul, thank you so much. That was really wonderful.
Peter, thanks for the opportunity. Lovely as always to chat.
My pleasure. I look forward to seeing everybody at our next interview.